The Apple NeuralHash system is still running on your iPhone right now, and the FTC can't stop it. Apple told you it was paused. The privacy groups declared victory. Every major tech publication moved on. But the infrastructure Apple built to scan the private files on your device was never removed. It was buried. And buried is not the same as gone. Today we're going inside the system Apple doesn't want you to remember. The one that proves their biggest selling point is a legal fiction. In August 2021, Apple announced a feature called NeuralHash. Officially, it was a child safety measure, a way to detect known illegal images stored in iCloud photos before they ever left your device. Apple called it on-device scanning. They said it was privacy-preserving. They said the matching happened locally on your phone before anything reached their servers. The system would compare a hash, a mathematical fingerprint of your photos against a known database. A match would flag your account for human review. Apple framed it as the most privacy-conscious version of a necessary tool. Law enforcement had been demanding cloud scanning for years. Apple said they found a better way. They called it a breakthrough. They were right, just not in the way they meant. Here's what they didn't tell you. NeuralHash doesn't just match known illegal images. The underlying architecture, the perceptual hashing system, the server-side threshold controls, the silent flag mechanism, can match any database Apple chooses to load. Not just illegal content, any content. The matching database lives on Apple's servers. Your phone downloads it silently in the background without notification. Apple controls what goes in that database. Apple controls the match threshold. Apple controls whether your account gets flagged. And critically, Apple never disclosed that the system could be expanded. Researchers at Apple itself published a paper in 2021 describing how perceptual hashing systems are inherently dual use. The same tool built to catch predators can be configured by the same engineers in hours to flag political content, protest imagery, journalism, any image a government or corporation finds inconvenient. Apple built a universal content filter and called it a safety tool. That distinction matters, because one of those things they were allowed to build. The Electronic Frontier Foundation called it a backdoor. 80 privacy organizations sent an open letter. Congress asked questions. And in September 2021, 5 weeks after the announcement, Apple said they were pausing the rollout to gather more feedback. Pause, not cancel, not remove. Pause. The F declared victory. The press moved on. But here is the part nobody reported. Apple never pushed an update to remove the code. Security researchers combing through iOS 15 found NeuralHash still compiled into the operating system. Not deactivated, not flagged as deprecated, still there. And the FTC, the agency that is supposed to police exactly this kind of surveillance, has no jurisdiction over code that lives inside an operating system Apple ships on hardware Apple manufactures. This is the mechanism that makes it unstoppable. Apple doesn't need an App Store update to reactivate NeuralHash. The system uses a server-side control flag. Your iPhone checks Apple's servers on a schedule. When that flag flips from off to on, scanning resumes. No update. No user prompt. No App Store review. No regulatory notification requirement. Apple can reactivate it tonight for every iPhone running iOS 15 or later without a single headline. Over 1 billion active iPhones. There is no law that requires Apple to notify users before reactivating a dormant feature in their own operating system. The FTC's authority over software practices is contested and slow. Enforcement actions take years. The pause Apple announced is not a legal commitment. It is a press statement. No regulator asked Apple to sign anything. No court order restricted reactivation. And here is the detail that proves it can't be stopped. When Apple was pressed by Congress on whether they would ever reactivate NeuralHash, their answer was not no. It was that they would only do so with appropriate consultation. Appropriate consultation. There is no definition. There is no threshold. There is no one who gets to decide what appropriate means except Apple. Right now, as you watch this, your phone is running an operating system with a dormant scanning mechanism waiting for a server flag to change. And it's still running. What this means for your data right now. Every iPhone on iOS 15 or later has NeuralHash compiled into its code, not as dead legacy software, as an active, server-addressable system waiting for a variable to flip. Your iCloud photos are already organized by Apple's image processing pipeline. The perceptual hashing infrastructure is already running. The only thing between your private photos and an automated content review system is a single server-side variable that Apple controls, with no binding legal constraint on when they change it. Apple built their entire brand on privacy. Their billboards say what happens on your iPhone stays on your iPhone. But what happens on your iPhone is already being processed by a system that can report to Apple without your knowledge, without your consent, and without any mechanism to stop it. The people meant to protect you already agreed to walk away. So who asked Apple to build this in the first place? Because NeuralHash wasn't invented in response to public pressure. The research predates the announcement by years. Internal documents reference early consultation with unnamed law enforcement agencies before any public proposal existed. Apple built a universal content scanning system before anyone publicly asked for one. The question nobody in Congress thought to ask: if Apple paused NeuralHash because users pushed back, what were they scanning before anyone found out?